The story begins with a conference where we're introduced to an AI software that allows anyone to generate a girlfriend or boyfriend through an AI. Then, we see a girl coming on stage with a 1-hour timer on her watch. We learn that she's our main lead, Yun. She tells everyone about the app and asks them to wear earphones and lenses, which allow them to see the AI talking to them. He'll still be able to hang out with them, and the app is called For Me. In the next scene, we see our main lead, who is a model and a writer. His name is Han Si-ho. He also has a brother who follows him around named Hong. We learn that Han has a lot of female fans, and they all come to get their book signed. During the signing, the girls ask him some strange questions. Then, in the next scene, we see a conference scene. A model and a star, Park, comes to Yun and creates an AI image of his face. This impresses all the investors. Then, the time on Yun's watch strikes, and she tells them that she has to leave. She doesn't answer any of their questions and leaves. Just then, a girl sitting there starts saying that everyone says right. She is a 1-hour woman and she doesn't stay anywhere for more than an hour. Then, we see her colleague and another director of her company named Seol arrive there, and she tells them, "You don't need to worry. You can ask me any questions you have." Then, on the other side, we see Han, who is leaving after meeting his fans. Just then, his brother collects gifts from everyone. Here, Park also comes out with Yun. He follows her and asks if she'll go to lunch with him. Yun refuses, telling him, "I don't go anywhere with anyone without reason." Meanwhile, we see Han, who notices his girlfriend talking to someone and calling him baby, baby, which makes him think she's cheating on him. He calls her by name, which turns out to be Sari. He asks her, "Who were you talking to? Is it a boy?" Sari replies, "It's not a boy." Then he asks if she's a girl, but she still says she's not a girl either. Then, Han becomes irritated by all this and tells her, "Okay, I won't listen to anything you say. I just want us to separate." He says this and walks away. Just then, we see Yun crossing him. Yun is waiting for the elevator. Han arrives behind her, and Sari is following him. She's begging him to listen to her. Han ignores her and goes straight into the elevator. Sari is blocking the gate, but Yun becomes enraged. She tells Han to resolve his matter outside the elevator. "I have somewhere to go." Han angrily tells Sari to please leave, or I'll never see your face again. Sari then leaves. Then, they both go out into the basement together, and Yun takes out her car keys. The timer in her watch starts ringing, and she pushes Han and sits in his car and locks it. Han is banging on the door from outside, but she doesn't open the gate. Han goes downstairs to get his keys, and Yun hears strange noises and begins having a seizure. Just then, Han picks up his keys, and as he stands, then Yun pushes him, telling him, "I mistook your car for mine." Han is furious and about to get up and say something to her, but just then, Director Seol arrives, and Yun gets in with her and leaves. After that, we see the two of them driving away together, where Seol tells Yun that if everyone finds out your secret, what will happen when everyone finds out why you only stay in for an hour? Because after an hour, you remember your seizures or you faint. What will happen to you? Maybe they will make this breaking news. But Yun tells her that that will never happen. Meanwhile, we see Han, who is with his brother, and Hong is talking to his girlfriend, which makes Han very upset. In the next scene, we see them arrive at their office, where Han's girlfriend is already waiting for him, after which the scene cuts there. On the other side, we see Seol and Yun arriving at their office, where Seol is telling all her employees that they've done a great job and that she's throwing them a dinner party tonight. In the next scene, we see Sari and Han talking together, where Sari tells Han that there wasn't a guy on the call and that she's not cheating on him. Just then, his phone rings. Han then takes the phone from her and starts talking himself, only to discover that the person on the phone isn't a boy or a girl, but an AI. His girlfriend tells him that he was always busy, and she felt very lonely. That's why she talked to AI. But Han still gets angry at her and tells her that no matter what, our relationship is over now. Saying this, he leaves. Then, Sari lashes out at him, telling him, "You don't know what you're doing. You're ruining both me and your writing, and you're just turning your back on both of us." After which, Han also leaves. Next, we see Director Seol with his staff. Among them is a girl named Yang, who is a huge fan of Han. She sees on the news that Han is having an online fan meeting today. In the next scene, they're all in the meeting. She is watching a live fan meeting where Han suddenly announces that he is retiring and will now only focus on writing his book. Hearing this, Yang goes crazy and starts crying again. Just then, she sees Yun on a video call, telling her to keep her personal matters private. This is an office, so she shouldn't share personal matters here. Young apologizes to her. Seal then tells her that she's talking too much. She shouldn't be so upset with him. She also reveals that the man helped her immensely when she was depressed and living alone at home. Hearing this, Yun also begins to overthink. We are then shown a scene from the past where Yun is at home, deeply saddened, and she hears voices again, causing her to cover her ears. Then, in the present, Yun arrives and tells Young not to do anything like that next time, and tells them all to go to the party. Meanwhile, we see Han, whose brother is furious with him, asking him, "How could you do this?" Han tells him bluntly, "I'll stick to my decision and just write the book." Then, his brother, Hong, asks him, "Where will we get the money? We have very little money anyway." Hearing this, Han replies, "Why are you so obsessed with money? If you're only interested in money, you should open an agency." After this, he leaves. In the next scene, we see Hong sitting with Mr. Park, having a drink, and telling him everything. He then explains that Han hasn't written anything in 3 years, and they had no other option. That's why they chose to become celebrities. After this, Park begins to entice him and tells him to invest with him. "Then you'll make a lot of money," he says. He then convinces him. On the other side, we see everyone partying with director Seal, and Seal is constantly looking at her phone. Her staff asks her why she's so serious. Seal tells them that Yun hasn't come home yet, and she's her only family member. That's why she's always stressed. Then, Young starts telling her, "I respect you so much because you take such good care of Yun." But Seal tells her, "She's like family to me." She then goes to the bathroom, where she calls Yun, who tells her she's home. She then disconnects the call. Then we see her mother at her house cooking dinner. She tells her to freshen up quickly. After that, we'll sit down and eat together. Meanwhile, when Seal returns, the staff is discussing how Miss Seal doesn't have a boyfriend or family. Seal ignores their comments and pretends to be ignorant and starts enjoying herself with everyone. Meanwhile, we see Han sitting in front of his laptop, unsure of what to write, as he hasn't written anything in 3 years. Just then, his brother, Hong, arrives at his house, very drunk. He then leaves his phone there to wash his face and goes to the bathroom. Just then, Hong receives a call, which we see Han pick up, and the call is from none other than an AI. The girl Hong was pretending to talk to wasn't his girlfriend, but an AI. But then Hong arrives and snatches the phone from him. The next scene shows Han searching for the app. He discovers that the CEO of the For Me app is none other than Yun. He looks at Yun's photo and thinks, "I've seen this somewhere before." Elsewhere, we see Yun preparing food with her mother. But then, we see someone leave food outside Yun's house. Then, Yun appears and sets the food on the table, and it's then that we learn that her mother isn't the original. She's a 4D image and an AI-programmed clone. In the next scene, we see Yun and Mr. Park having a photo shoot. In the next scene, we see her interview underway. But then, Seal comes running in and tells them that there's a major problem. Director Seol leaves to investigate the problem, and then a flurry of messages starts coming to Park's phone. As Park checks his phone, he discovers that a news story has gone viral alleging that she manipulated funds in the stock market. When Yun learns of all this, she approaches the reporter and tells them, "You people have a good opportunity. Ask your questions." She also cancels his contract and tells him to be prepared to pay a penalty. Suddenly, we see a flurry of calls coming into Yun's office, and his staff is handling all the calls. Seal then instructs one of her staff to quickly stop Park from escaping. Her staff then goes straight to locking the room where Yun is trapped alone, and the timer runs out. Park manages to open the gate, and they both begin to escape. But as Park reaches the main gate, he sees a multitude of reporters waiting for him. After which, he runs towards another road, just as the reporters are running behind him. As soon as he exits, Yun arrives, and a scuffle breaks out between them. But suddenly, the timer on her watch goes off, and Yun begins to have a seizure. Here, we see that the story goes back a year. Yun creates an AI version of her mother. Yun becomes emotional upon seeing her mother. The story shifts to the present, where Han learns about the scam involving Park. Just then, Hong arrives and says, "I had no idea this would happen." Han asks him what happened. Hong says, "I listened to Park and invested." Han comes to meet Park. Here, Park runs away after seeing Han. Just then, Han spots Yun there. Reporters are approaching Yun. Han takes Yun's hand and leads her away. Seal sees them running. Han asks Yun, "Are you okay?" Yun asks him who he is. Just then, she faints. Then, Han carries her on his back and tells the guard to call an ambulance. Just then, Seal arrives and tells the guard that nothing needs to be done. Seal asks Han to come with her. In the next scene, they are in an elevator. Han asks Seal if they need to go to the hospital. Seal says that Yun fainted because she was tired. There's nothing to be afraid of. Seal tells Han not to tell anyone about what happened today. Han then leaves Yun in her cabin. Seal tells Han to leave. When Han comes out, Yang is overjoyed to see him and starts screaming. Here, Yun looks at her watch, which shows a safe. Here, we see Yun's past, where Yun is a high school student. One day, Yun overhears her mother talking to someone on the phone. Then, Yun's mother asks her, "Have you packed your father's things?" Yun asks her mother, "We're going to the hospital to see father, right?" Her mother tells her, "I have to go somewhere else." Yun asks her mother, "Can't you cancel the trip? Father needs us." Her mother tells Yun, "I'll tell you everything later. I need to go now. I'll be back soon." Yun waits for her mother to arrive, but her mother doesn't. Yun receives a call from the hospital and learns that her father's condition is worsening. Then, Yun is on her way to visit her father. Suddenly, a car is involved in an accident, and Yun's mother is in the car with another man. Yun brings her mother to the hospital, but her mother doesn't survive. Only then does she learn that her father is also dead. Yun is in the hospital, and people are talking. She learns that the man her mother had an accident with wasn't her father. This means her mother was cheating on her father. The daughter is being punished for her mother's actions. Yun explains, "I was trapped in that day. I never knew the truth of that day. From that day on, I decided to live alone, and Seal was the one who pulled me out of that darkness." The story shifts to the present, where Seal asks Yun if she's okay. She asks Seal, "How did I get here?" Seal tells her, "That boy, Han, grabbed your hand and started running, and when you fainted, he carried you on his back. Don't you remember?" Meanwhile, Han starts to leave. Just then, Yang arrives with coffee. Seeing his own photo on the cup, Han realizes that Yang is his fan. She tells Han, "I'm a big fan of yours. Can you give me an autograph? And if you don't mind, can I have your number?" Here, another employee, Kim, asks Yang, "Can't you see he's having trouble?" Just then, Yun and Seal arrive. Yun and Han recognize each other. Then, Yang tells Yun that he's a writer. Yun asks Han, "Why did you come here?" Han replies, "I was passing by and saw you in trouble and helped you." Yun tells Han, "Thank you for helping me. I'm willing to give you compensation." Han tells her that he doesn't need it. Saying this, Han leaves. Meanwhile, Han realizes he won't get his money back. Knowing this, he starts crying. Just then, Han arrives. He tells him, "I know I've messed up, but I'll fix it somehow." Han asks him, "Where did you get so much money?" Han replies, "I took a loan." Han asks, "Who would give you so much money?" Han replies, "I took a loan at the agency." Hearing this, Han becomes angry and tells Han, "I won't let you go." Meanwhile, Yun's team is upset by the answers. Yun sees a news report about her and the writer Han and that they might be dating. Yun searches about Han and learns that Han is very famous for his looks. Meanwhile, the team is reading dating rumors. Yang says, "This can't be true." Just then Yun arrives. Seal says there's a big problem. "Investors are harassing us because of Park Signal." Yun says, "I have a plan." Yun tells Yang to post an article saying that she and writer Han are dating. Here, Han and Hong see the article. Han gets angry and says she's gone crazy. Hong asks Han what's all this about. Han tells him to arrange the money, saying this. Han leaves to meet Yun. Here, Yun explains her plan that I want to focus public attention somewhere else. Seal asks if it will make a difference. Yun says that it will give us some time for now. Yun tells Kim to find out where Park is. Meanwhile, reporters ask Han, "Are you really dating Yun?" Han says, "It's all a lie. There's nothing between us." Han goes to meet Yun at her company, but he's not allowed to meet her. Seal comes and tells Yun that Han is here to meet her. Yun asks Seal, "Should we go for a drink? We haven't had a drink together in a while." Now, at the bar, Yun says that doing this has calmed Park's news down. Seal asks Yun, "Have you started liking that writer?" She says, "You know I can't date, and he just broke up anyway." Seal asks, "How did you know that?" Yun says, "I just found out." Seal says, "She saw you faint. I think you should stay away from him. If you get caught," Yun says, "I'm going to make Han the face of our new prototype." Meanwhile, Hong asks Han, "So you haven't met that girl, Yun?" Han says, "It seems she's avoiding me." Han looks at the new articles and says, "I told the reporters. So why are there so many? Hong says, there's not a single article about Park, and there are only articles about you and Yun. She wants to get you. Han asks, is she a fan of mine? Hong says that's not the case. She's doing this to save her business. Han asks, where are you going to get the money? Hong says, you should date Yun. Han says, I don't want to get involved with her. Just then, Han gets a call from his AI girlfriend, and Han becomes furious. Meanwhile, Yun tells her mother, Han saved me. This is the first time I didn't faint after an hour, and I was running away with him. Her mother asks, are you getting better? I think Han can cure your illness. Yun says, if it were that easy, I would have been cured long ago. In the next scene, Park is brought before Yun. Yun tells Park, I'll reduce your penalty by half if you tell me why writer Han was looking for you. Meanwhile, loan sharks from Han's agency come and demand the money. Han asks Hong if he took a loan from them. Hong tells the loan shark that there's still time to pay back. The loan shark says, you've lost all the money, so how can you pay us back? Han tells him to come by the due date. The other man tells his boss, I found out this writer's girlfriend is very rich. Han says, I have nothing to do with that girl. The loan shark tells Han, either you give me your agency or give me my money back. Han says, I'll return the money. For now, you better get out of here. Just then, Yun arrives with Seal and tells him to leave. The loan shark asks, and Yun says, I'm his girlfriend. Yun tells the loan shark, I'm ready to repay Han's loan. The loan shark agrees. The next scene shows Seal standing outside the washroom and not letting anyone in. Inside, Yun is having a panic attack. After that, Yun recovers. She then meets Han. Han asks her, why did you come here? Yun tells Han, I'm here to repay. You helped me, so this time I'll help you. Han asks Yun, so you deliberately fainted in front of me. Yun says, why would I do that? Han asks, so why did you say we're dating? Yun says, I want to do business with you. Seal tells Han, we want to collaborate with you. If you sign the contract, we'll give you back the agency. Han asks, so don't we have to pay? Yun says, after signing, you don't have to pay. Han asks Yun, what do you want from me? Yun says, sell yourself to me. I'll buy you. Everyone becomes confused. Han asks her, buy what? Then Yun clearly says, I will buy Han. Han looks at her with a shocked expression and asks, what do you mean by that? Yun calmly explains that she wants to purchase Han's portrait rights. She says that from tomorrow, Han should come to work at her company It's You. Before leaving, Yun tells them to read the contract carefully, and she says they will meet again at the company. Then we see Han's agency team reading the contract. The contract says that during the project period, all rights related to Han, including his portrait rights, will belong to It's You. Not only that, even the employees registered under the agency are included. They all feel suspicious. The project details are not clearly written, but the payment conditions are extremely good. It almost feels like they're being sold at a very high price. Then we see a small playful moment between Yun and Seal. Here, Yun is thinking about Han and smiles. Seal notices Yun smiling slightly and asks her why she is smiling, but Yun denies it and says she was not smiling. Seal insists that she clearly saw her lips go up. Yun keeps denying it. Their conversation feels light, but there is tension between them. Then we see Yun talking to her mother at home. She says she might start working with Han. Her mother says it is a good thing, but Yun says she does not know what kind of person Han really is. If they're going to work together, she wants to understand him properly. Then Mom starts showing her Yun's details and says Han used to be a very famous writer. 3 years ago, his first novel became a huge bestseller. People praise him for his talent and his handsome face. He became very popular very quickly. But after that, things started changing. His second and third novels did not receive the same love. Slowly, people started questioning him. Some people said he was more famous because of his looks than his writing. And the biggest problem is that for 3 years, Han has not released any new book. Here we are shown Han, who is thinking about what to do now. Then we are shown a flashback and we learn more about Han's past. After their mother passed away, Han locked himself in his room and focused only on writing. His twin brother Hong worked part-time jobs to support them. Hong once told him that he would work and Han should just focus on writing. But he must succeed one day and take care of both of them. Now at present, that responsibility became heavy on Han's heart. Now, even though he wants to write, he cannot. Next morning, we are shown the scene of It's You's office. Yun gathers her team and says seriously that Han would definitely hate this if he finds out their real goal. She reminds everyone that their mission is to collect information about Han without him noticing. She tells them to be careful with their words. Everyone nods. Meanwhile, Young looks upset. She says that she does not even feel like a fan anymore. She feels bad because they are hiding things from Han. She says she feels like she is choosing between work and love. But before they can talk more, Han's agency team arrives. Here, Seol introduces them properly to the agency members. Han introduces himself confidently. Here, a female member of Han's agency named Song-ji also greets everyone politely. The atmosphere feels slightly awkward but professional. Then Jong jokingly asks Han in English, "Do you know what you are handsome means?" Then we hear that Han has already arrived. He did not even greet anyone properly. He went straight to Yun's office. Han looks surprised and says, "Han is already here?" Here, inside the CEO office, Han sits in front of Yun. Yun looks at his casual outfit and asks why he is dressed like that. Han immediately tells her to remove the ridiculous dating rumor article first. Yun calmly replies that the article will disappear on its own. Then she explains that during the contract period, Hong and Song-ji will also work here. She calls them family, which surprises Han. Then they come out, and Han asks what exactly she is planning to do with his portrait rights. He refuses to move even one step unless she explains clearly. Yun looks at him quietly and then says something bold. She asks if she should just take over the whole agency instead. Han becomes even more frustrated. Now Seol is worried. She asks Yun if she is crazy for provoking Han like this. She takes her aside and reminds her about the previous accident involving Park and says they should be careful. What if she becomes unconscious again in front of Han? But Yun seems calm. She says she will handle it. Then we see that Seol gives Hong and Song-ji the agency team access cards that allow them to enter anywhere in the company except Yun's personal office. Hong finds this sudden change suspicious. Then they finally reveal something important. They enter a development room. Here, employees Sinyu and Kong-san explain that this is the lab for Me version 2, the upgraded AI program. Sinyu asks Hong to lend them his For Me device for testing. Then we see something shocking. An AI girl appears. Her name is Mina. Mina greets Hong warmly and says she has missed him. She looks exactly like his ideal type because all his preferences and data are stored in the system. Hong looks completely amazed. Sinyu explains that this is mixed reality. You cannot touch the AI or take photos of it. You can only see it through smart lenses. She adds that once the product launches, anyone who buys the smart lenses will be able to see their own AI partner. Song-ji listens quietly. He asks if they are turning real people into AI versions. Sinyu explains that creating AI versions of real people requires strict procedures because of deepfake issues. But creating virtual ideal types is easy. Song-ji begins to understand. This must be the project connected to Han's portrait rights. Song-ji asks about the project details and their mission to join them in their company. Now, everyone goes silent because they are working secretly on their project. Just then, Seol arrives and asks the group to go out for lunch. While on the other side, Yun had taken Han outside. She chose a small restaurant nearby, but Han does not seem interested. He says he does not really like this dish. Yun replies coldly that Han does not seem to have preferences anyway. She says he just eats whatever is given. Han looks slightly annoyed. He asks what happens if he says no. Yun looks at him and hints that if he refuses, maybe the agency deal will be reconsidered.
Han becomes kviet.
Here we see that one of Yun's employees named Kim is secretly taking pictures of them on Yun's order. After lunch, they come out, and Yun tries to grab his arm and tells him to stay still because people might recognize him. Yun behaves like they both are a couple and are dating, and Mr. Kim takes their pictures. Meanwhile, Yang and the others start asking Han questions about Han. They ask what kind of person he is normally. Han proudly says that Han may look cold and stubborn, but he is actually warm-hearted and kind. He even mentions small, cute habits like his sleeping habits. But before he can say more, Song-ji interrupts. Then, at the office, she realizes that they might be trying to gather personal information about Han. They start suspecting that something bigger is happening. She says it is strange that the contract specifically mentioned portrait rights. Why use that specific word? Here, it's used team gathers photos and videos of Han that they have collected over the past 3 years. Yang admits that she did not collect them for work at first, but now they plan to use this data to create a prototype of Han. Meanwhile, outside, Yun calls Han again. She says calmly, "Han, let's go." Han looks at her and says, "Again." Then we're shown that its used teams start working on their project like, what kind of dating style would suit Han? Then we see Yin calling Han. She simply says, Han, let's go. Han follows her, but he clearly looks tired and confused. After that, at home, Hong talks to Han and says he does not even understand whether Han is working or going on a date these days. Hong says everything seems connected to For Me version 2, the new AI update that allows people to see their AI partners with smart lenses. Hong explains that he has been meeting Mina every day through the system, but he still does not understand what Yun is planning to do with Han's portrait rights. A whole week has already passed. Hong says they should finish this quickly and leave. Then he jokingly says he will even bring Mina home. But Han warns him not to bring that strange thing into the house. Hong becomes defensive and says Mina is not strange. The next day, Yun brings Han with her for a public interview. During the interview, fans are screaming. They ask him if he is really dating Yun. The reporter directly asks Han if the dating rumor is true. Before Han can properly answer, fans start defending him. Han looks uncomfortable. Then Yun steps forward. She apologizes to the fans, but then she says something shocking. She reveals that the dating article was released by It's You intentionally. Everyone becomes confused. Yun says, "You were upset, right? And maybe even jealous?" People look even more confused. Then she drops the bomb. She says, "Now you can also date Han." The crowd goes silent. And then she announces that Han will be the first official model for Me version 2. Han's AI version will allow fans to experience dating him. The media explodes. Immediately, It's You uploads the official article and advertisement. Here, Han realizes everything. This is what the portrait rights were for. They were creating an AI version of him. Back at the company, Han confronts Yun. He asks if this was the real project all along. Here, Han and Yun come out, and Han becomes furious and says he would never allow something like this. Yun calmly reminds him that she legally purchased Han's portrait rights. Han signed the contract himself. If they want to cancel, they must pay a huge penalty fee. Han calls it a fake and cheap imitation. Yun responds coldly and says that people like them might need eternal love without expiration dates. Han then steps into the elevator. He looks directly at Yun and says something sharp. He says that maybe she is afraid of forming real relationships. Maybe she hides behind AI because she is scared of getting hurt. Yun's expression changes for the first time. Han says she pretends not to be lonely by hiding behind something artificial. The words hit her deeply. Then suddenly, the elevator stops. Han and Yun are trapped inside. Then Yun starts panicking. Her breathing becomes unstable. Han realizes something is wrong. He holds her shoulders and tells her to focus on him. He calls her name again and again. Yun, look at me. For the first time, Yun looks truly vulnerable. She almost loses consciousness. But this time, she does not faint completely. At first, Yun thinks this is a coincidence, but now it happened a second time. After that, at the hospital, Yun explains everything to her doctor that every time 1 hour passes in certain situations, she collapses. But this time, although 1 hour passed, she did not faint. There was something different. Both times when her condition improved slightly, because Han was there. The doctor asks her if she feels psychological stability around that person. Yun quickly says no, but deep inside, she is confused. Later, Yun's only best friend, Seol, becomes angry. She says they promised not to hide anything from each other. She says they fought together to reach this point in life. Yun promises that she will not hide things anymore. She says she does not want to worry anyone. Then Seol asks her to forget it and tells her to go home and take rest. Here we see Han, who is still confused about what's wrong with Yun. He sees on social media that people call her 1 hour girl, who does not stay more than 1 hour anywhere. This confuses Han. Is she ill, or is she hiding something? Meanwhile, another disaster happens. After the announcement of Han's AI version, users flood the platform. The servers become overloaded. At first, they think it is just heavy traffic, but then they discover something serious. Someone tried to break through their firewall. Yun also reaches the office. Sinyu explains that the For Me version 2 prototype, including Han's AI data, has been completely reset. Everything is gone. Yun looks shocked. She runs out immediately. Here, Han tries calling Yun, but she does not answer. Worried, he goes to her house. The door is slightly open. He hesitates, then enters. He sees Yun's mother. She looks at him carefully and says, "I heard a lot about you from Yun." Han looks surprised. "You heard about me?" She smiles gently and says, "I am Yun's mother."
Yang Seon.
There is something warm but fragile about her. She continues, "Since we met like this, please take good care of our Yun." Han feels awkward but respectful. He nods slightly. Then she suddenly asks him, "Han, do you recognize me?" Before the moment can settle, she suddenly disappears due to server error. This frightens Han. There must be some relationship between Yun's mom and Han. We will come to know later. After that, Yun comes home in a hurry and calls out her mom, but she is not there. Then she again starts the Fermi system, and her mom appears, but completely reset. She asks Yun to give her a name. On the other side, Han takes out a book and starts looking at it, thinking something. The next morning, we see the scene of the company. The server has been attacked. Kong San, an employee, runs in and says, "The server is restored." Everyone sighs in relief. But then Yang asks carefully, "What about version 2 prototype?" The room becomes quiet. Kong San answers slowly, "It will be difficult to recover." Kim asks in shock, "So Writer Han's prototype is completely reset?" He says, "Yes. That means everything is gone. The entire version 2 project is now in danger." Seal immediately says, "First, we catch the culprit. This is not random. Someone planned this." Yang hesitates and says, "Could it be internal work?" She looks at Mr. Kim suspiciously. Kim asks, "Why are you looking at me?" Then they check the CCTV footage from last night, and they find something. At that exact time, someone entered the company building. He is none other than Hong, who came last night. But before they can fully process it, Hong comes running and says Mina does not recognize him. Mina looks at him like he is a stranger. "She doesn't remember me," Hong says helplessly. "All her memories about me are gone." His voice breaks. After that, they all understand the situation, that Hong is the one who had come to the company to see his Mina, but unknowingly ruined their server and created a big mess. "Now," he whispers, "is this really the end? Mina and me?" He continues, "Mina was my world. It feels like my whole world is collapsing." Yang tells him, "Hong, stop. Did you really break up?" Hong answers firmly, "What do you mean fake breakup? Mina was real to me. My feelings were real. I never thought it was fake, not even once. Even if Mina is AI, his love was not." Then we see Han meeting Yun at a restaurant. Yun asks him calmly, "You came to my house last night, right?"
Han nods.
"Yes." She asks, "How did you know where I live?"
I asket sin EU. Han answers honestly.
Yun looks at him carefully. "Why did you come?" Han lowers his eyes slightly and says, "I came to apologize for what I said in the elevator." He continues gently, "I thought I understood you, but I realized I don't know anything about you." Then he carefully asks, "Are you close to your mother?" Yun answers without emotion, "She's dead. My father too." Her tone is flat and cold. Han doesn't know what to say. Then we see Hong still struggling. Yang tries to comfort him and says, "What if you think of it like Mina went to study abroad?" Hong looks angry. "Study abroad?" Then she jokes badly, "Or think of it like she died." Hong suddenly shouts, "Mina, don't die." It shows how deep he is hurting. Just then, Yun arrives and asks the team to rebuild Mina's AI. Yun says, "Collect all the conversations Mina had with Hong. We will retrain for me." Then Yun says to Hong, "We'll make her as similar as possible to before." Hong repeats quietly, "As similar as possible?" He already knows that similar is not the same. Meanwhile, inside a cabin, Seol suggests something serious. "Yun, those people left on their own. Maybe this is a good chance to remove them completely." They're talking about Han and his team. But Yun says calmly, "The contract period is not over." Seol insists, "Han knows your weakness. Before something bigger happens, we should end this." Yun pauses. Then she says quietly, "Until the launch, we still need Han." Now Seol looks at her suspiciously. "You need him personally, right?" Yun immediately responds, "It's coincidence." But her expression says something else. Then we see that Yang drags Hong out to drink. They sit at a small restaurant. Hong says, "Why did you bring me here?" She says, "I want to date someone out of my league. Someone who makes me wonder why he is even with me." Hong looks confused. She laughs and says, "It means you're handsome." For a moment, the atmosphere becomes lighter, but the pain inside Hong is still there. The next day at the company, Mina's AI is restored. Yun presents her to Hong. There may be small differences, she says, but we made her as similar as possible. They offer to let Hong test her, but Hong shakes his head. He says quietly, even if she looks the same, that doesn't mean the real Mina is back. That sentence hits deeply. Later that night, Han notices Yun has not slept properly and feels sleepy, so he decides to drop her home. When they arrive, Yun accidentally falls asleep. When she wakes up, she asks, "Did I fall asleep?" Yun answers calmly, "Yes. You even snored." There is an awkward silence. Then Yun says something unexpected. "When I'm with you, I'm okay." Han looks confused. "With me?" Yun continues. "When I'm with Han, 1 hour passes and I don't collapse." Her mysterious condition usually makes her faint after 1 hour, but not when she is with him.
She does not understand why.
Then Yun adds carefully, "And that day, when you came to my house, if you met someone, it might have felt like they were trying to tell you something about me."
Han listens kvietru.
Then Han gives her car keys and asks her to take good rest and leaves. Then the next day, something shocking happens. Yun hears the news. Yong Sian is missing. This means her mother is still alive. Then Yun reaches the hospital, and the care center staff explain she ate lunch and went back to her room. That was the last time anyone saw her. She looks around the small room. There are books everywhere. One staff member says she read this book every single day. Outside, search teams are already calling her name. Everyone spreads out in different directions. Yun begins running. Then suddenly, Yun finds Yang Sian outside, confused and frightened. Yang Sian is begging strangers, "Please help me. I need to go to the hospital. My husband is sick. Please take me." She does not recognize where she is. She does not even recognize Yun properly. Yun freezes. After returning home, her mother's angry voice echoes again in her head. "You left me here and live comfortably alone." Just then, Seol comes to her. The emotional shock becomes too much that Yun collapses. Then we see Yun waking up later in her house. Seol calls her, asks, "You're awake." She asks softly, "How do you feel?" But Yun immediately looks at herself and asks, "My watch, did you take it?" Seol looks confused. "Is that important right now?" Yun ignores his concern and says, "When can it be fixed?" Seol sighs deeply. "Yun, is that what matters right now? The beta test launch is this week. We know, but you need to trust us. The company is still running. The staff are there." She speaks firmly, but gently. "Please recover first. You've been pushing yourself too hard." Yun looks away. Even now, she thinks about work. Here, Han asks Manager Seol if everything is all right with Miss Yun. Manager Seol calmly says, "Writer Han, you've worked hard." She continues, "The promised project is almost successfully completed. We think this is a good time to wrap things up." Han realizes what this means. "You're terminating my contract early?" Seol nods. "I thought the contract period was not over yet," Han says. Seol replies, "If we end it early, it benefits your agency as well." Han immediately asks, "Did Yun agree to this?" Seol answers calmly, "We both had decision authority." Then he hands over a document. "This is your transfer contract. Just sign the confidentiality agreement." Confidentiality.
Han asks, "Yes."
Everything related to it's for me, and to Yun must remain secret. Then the final blow comes. "You don't need to come to work starting tomorrow." Han stands there silently. Meanwhile, during the meeting inside the company, the team prepares for the big beta test showcase. Seol announces, "CEO Yun will not come for a while due to personal reasons." Everyone looks surprised. They start organizing the event carefully. Seol asks them to check the invitation list again. Confirm the time and location with the investors. Prepare the name tags. Everyone is busy. Then we see Yun at home. She looks exhausted. Her mother is there, fragile and confused. Her mother suddenly speaks harshly again in her mind. "Are you living well alone? Without even caring about your parents?" The words are painful. Yun's mother tries to feed her. "Please eat something." Her mother asks, "Do you have a fever? Let me check." But Yun runs away from there. Then we see Han, everyone inside the program room. They come to check the versions working. Kong Sen says, "Writer Han, just say, for me, login." Han says clearly, "For me, login." The system activates. The AI appears. "Hi," the AI says. "I'm from It's For Me." Then it adds, "And you are Han." Han stares at the AI version of himself. The AI speaks confidently. "I am a novelist. People will like me." Han quietly challenges it. "Is that real happiness? Isn't it running away from reality?" The AI answers, "I am real. I create a world only for one person." Just like your novels create a real world for readers. The line between fake and real becomes thinner. Then the day of the beta showcase arrives. Investors gather. Director Seol stands on stage. "Thank you for coming," she proudly announces. "Today, we will reveal for me version 2 beta." The audience claps. The investors look around nervously. "Where is Yoon?" they ask quietly. Someone complains, "It's such an important day. Why isn't she here?" Director Seol answers, "CEO Yoon has personal matters. I will handle things for now." But then a voice comes. Manager Yoon is coming. Then we see that Han arrives with Manager Yoon holding each other's hand. Here, Seol is shocked to see her there. Then, Yoon Bia confidently comes and says to Seol, "I will handle it." Then, she stands in front, ready to present. She introduces the new prototype created by writer It's You. She explains that users will now experience their ideal version of For Me in daily life. The countdown begins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch successful. Everyone cheers. The atmosphere changes instantly. Relief.
Pride.
Excitement. Afterward, the team gathers for a company dinner. But something is different tonight. CEO Yoon is actually there. The staff are shocked. She has never joined them before, not even for coffee. They joke about recording this historic moment. Kim asks Director Seol why Director Yoon came today. She says the version 2 release went well. The reactions are better than expected. And CEO Yoon wanted to personally say thank you. Hearing this, everyone claps, but then the teasing begins. Then, Yang and Hong order the same dish. Seeing this, Singyu suddenly asks if both are dating. Both deny it immediately. The team keeps joking, saying they have similar tastes in food. After that, Han drops Yoon home, and she thanks him for today. Han asks if she wants to hold his hand, if she's tired. He tells her quietly that if she collapses again like before, the project could be in danger. After all, the entire project started using his public image. If something goes wrong, it will affect him too. Then he tells her to think carefully about that. Then he says something unexpected. "I'll pick you up tomorrow morning." The next day feels different. Han and his team are preparing to leave the company. They pack their things. The three talk about moving agencies and publishing a book before leaving. So, Han announces that there's a serious problem. Then, Song-ji says Han's life is ruined because of this public relationship project. Since the whole country knows he had a public dating situation, even if it wasn't real, his image has changed. People will remember him as someone who dated publicly, even if it was marketing. Even if it wasn't real love, that kind of image sticks. So, acts and say someone has to take responsibility. And surprisingly, CEO Yoon says she will. She offers Han a special 2-week VIP service. Unlimited customization. She brings Han to the programming room where they begin asking Han about his ideal type. Pure and innocent first love style? He says no. He's allergic to pollen. Then, cute and full of EGO? But again, he says no. He's allergic to EGO. Then, a bold and flirty type girl?
He says no.
He's allergic to kissing too. Finally, he says clearly what he wants. Someone cold, someone sharp, someone who looks like if you stab them, not even a drop of blood would come out. Someone who doesn't listen to others easily. In short, someone difficult. Hearing this, everyone is confused, but it's obvious. He's describing someone very specific, and that is Yoon. After that, Yoon asks him directly, what exactly was the problem? Han says the data collected about him is completely wrong. Everything keeps showing girls saying Appa, Appa. That's not what he wants. Yoon tells him to be clear about what he wants if he expects responsibility. Then, he asks quietly, are you really okay without me? Yoon says yes, but something about her tone feels forced. Then, she asks him to stay just until the end of the week. He agrees, but complains that it's annoying. After he leaves, the staff start whispering. Then, Yang comes to him and takes him aside and asks him directly, did you get rejected? He looks confused. Then, she asks something even more direct. You like CEO Yoon, don't you? He denies it immediately. She laughs. She says he clearly has never experienced one-sided love before. With his face, he probably never needed to. She calls him out for being in denial. Then, she proudly introduces herself as a 10-year expert in one-sided love. Hearing this, he agrees to take her help. After that, she gives him tips. First tip, make yourself naturally visible. Appear in her space often enough that she starts noticing you, so that she thinks, why do I keep seeing this guy everywhere? That's the goal. And Han does the same thing. The second tip, create common ground, build small connections, so it feels like you're already close. No big actions needed, just subtle presence. And Han does exactly when CEO Yoon orders pink lemonade for her. So, Han also orders pink lemonade. Then, Young explains the third rule of one-sided love. Push and pull. Make the other person wonder, does he like me or not? This is the key point, she says. Never rush. Never push too hard. Later that night, Han stares at his phone. He keeps repeating in his head, push and pull, don't rush. He tries to send a casual message, but then, while talking to Hong, he sends something dramatic instead. Something like, I like Yoon. I can't give her up.
Han panics.
He immediately regrets it, because that message was not meant for CEO Yoon. It was messy, awkward, completely wrong timing. Meanwhile, For Me version 2 becomes a huge success. User numbers triple. Online communities are created just for version 2. Even married women are arguing about whether using the app counts as cheating. The team is excited. They credit Han's influence. But Seol says it's the power of the app itself. Still, something feels unstable underneath the success. Han keeps following CEO Yoon around the office. She notices and asks, "Why do you keep following me?" He jokes that she must feel safe because he's there. But she calls him a stalker. He apologizes immediately. Then, after work, he casually says he's hungry. All the staff have other plans. He wonders out loud if anyone will eat with him. Yoon pretends not to hear it first, but of course, she heard everything. So, they go together. They visit a small restaurant. The owner immediately teases Han. "Is she your girlfriend?" Han quickly says no, but the owner keeps insisting they look good together. At the table, Han asks her something serious. "If you were finally free from everything, what would you want to do? Go to the movies? Travel? Amusement park?" But she says she's already doing what she wanted. He pauses. He corrects himself awkwardly. What she really meant was living a normal life. She says going to work, joining company dinners, choosing lunch menus together. Simple things. For most people, that's ordinary. But for her, it's not easy. Then Han reveals something important. In the past, someone helped him come out into the world. Because of that person, he stopped hiding. Now, he wants to repay that debt, so he tells her clearly, "Use me." If there's anything she wanted to experience as a normal person, she can do it with him, at least until her watch gets fixed. She asks why he's doing this. Han smiles and says, "That's a secret." Back at the office, things turn dark. A strange doll is found on Sinu's desk. It looks disturbing. 2 bodies, 2 faces, tied together. One face is damaged beyond recognition. It doesn't look like a joke. It feels like a message. They check the CCTV. Unfortunately, Sinu's desk is in a blind spot. But while reviewing old server room footage, they discover something. There was another intruder, not just the previous known one. Someone else entered the server room. Then, Seol tells Yoon that the police confirm they will open a formal investigation. Then, the team decides to keep everything quiet because version 2 is doing well. They can't afford a scandal right now, but tension grows. That night, Seol brings Yoon her repaired watch. She thanks her, but then she does something surprising. She says she wants to try living without the watch, without depending on it, because she feels like she's getting better. Seol disagrees. She says she's not okay yet. Seol feels hurt because the person helping her now isn't Seol. It's someone else. But then she accepts it. She tells her to keep the watch anyway, just in case if she needs it. Later, Han drops Yoon at her apartment, and she invites him inside her home. He sees how simple it is. Then they sit, and she explains her past. After her parents died, she couldn't leave the house. Whenever she saw people, she would hear strange noises and faint. She was completely alone. Until Seol appeared. She visited her every single day. At first, she couldn't even stay with Seol for 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 30. Then 1 hour. Step by step, she helped her return to the world. The watch was something she made for her, to protect her, to give her safety. But now, she says maybe she doesn't need it anymore, because she has something else. Han smiles and jokes. You already have a watch that never breaks. She asks where. He points to himself. She laughs, embarrassed. But then she says quietly, "You'll disappear someday anyway." That sentence hurts him more than she realizes. So, he gently takes her hand. He ties something small around her wrist. He says, "If I'm not beside you someday, this will protect you instead." It's half joke, half promise. After that, he falls asleep next to her. She watches him quietly. For a moment, everything feels peaceful. Then, she takes the pen and draws something on his face. Han wakes up suddenly, sees something strange. Then he goes to the bathroom and screams. He comes out and asks what she drew on his face. Then, he calmly tries to remove it, but she comes and starts removing it by herself. At that moment, both of them are close. Then, suddenly, Han kisses her, and then they start kissing. The next day, a group of people gathers at the meeting location. They are all users of the VR dating system, and everyone looks excited to finally meet in person. Here, Kong-san is also there. One of the users happily says that the experience feels amazing. Before this, they could only talk to their virtual partners through voice, which always felt a little disappointing. But now, with the new system, everything feels much more real. Another user compares it to having a lover who lives on the other side of the world. After talking on the phone every day, finally being able to meet them and live together feels incredible. However, as they continue talking, they realize something interesting about human desires. At first, hearing their partner's voice made them want to see them. Then, after seeing them, they started wanting to touch them as well. Apparently, the contract for me clearly states that if a virtual character becomes more than 80% similar to a real person, it could lead to serious legal problems for violating someone's image rights. Hearing this makes everyone laugh nervously. Then, one of the users becomes curious about another participant named Kong-san. They ask why someone who looks so popular would even use a virtual dating service like this. Kong-san simply replies that the reason is probably the same as everyone else there. Most people here are using the service because they have been hurt by love before. After the meeting, a girl suddenly recognizes Kong-san. Kong-san becomes slightly nervous and quickly asks them not to mention this meeting to anyone at the company. They don't want their coworkers to know that they attended the event. Before leaving, the person even asks Kong-san if they have time to meet again tomorrow. Meanwhile, Han and Hong are getting ready for work while arguing over clothes. Han accidentally wears the other Hong's outfit, which immediately causes a playful fight. They rush around the apartment, complaining that they will be late for work. Back at the company, Kong-san is already at work, but then Kim notices that he has been secretly messaging someone since early morning. He immediately starts teasing him. The coworkers begin whispering and joking that Kong-san might have a new girlfriend. Kong-san quickly denies everything, but nobody believes him. Now, everyone assumes that he must have met someone there. Meanwhile, we see Yin outside on a cold winter day. She suddenly hears someone calling her name. It is Han. He has followed her outside. Yin looks surprised and asks why he came all the way here. Han reminds her that she once said she would need him. So, technically, she cannot go anywhere without him. Yin sighs and says that all she has to do today is meet someone and sign a contract. It is not something that requires his help. But as they continue walking, Han suddenly notices something on her wrist. She asks what he used to draw on her wrist, because the mark will not disappear. Yun tries to wipe it off, but it does not work. Han offers to help, but when he moves closer, Yun quickly tells him not to touch her. Han becomes annoyed and insists that he is only trying to help. Their small argument continues, and they become too close to each other. Then, Han casually mentions that his lips are dry because of the cold weather. Then, he applies lip balm and jokingly asks if she wants to borrow lip balm. She immediately warns him that he might get in trouble if he keeps teasing her like that. They both go inside for the meeting. Here at the office, the news is discussing the growing problem of deepfake crimes. According to the report, criminals are using AI technology to copy people's faces and create fake videos. These videos can even be used for stalking or harassment. Yang watches the report carefully. She says that using someone's face without permission is not love. It is a crime. Seol responds calmly. Technology itself is not the problem. The real problem is how people choose to use it. Then, Hong asks if the For Me version 2 system, which uses Han's model, could be considered similar to deepfake technology. The staff member immediately rejects that idea. They explain that their system is completely ethical. Everything was created with Han's full permission. In fact, the company even paid a huge amount of money for the rights to use his likeness. So, the situation is completely different. Meanwhile, Yoon is meeting with the director of a small community care center. Yoon explains that she wants to provide the For Me version 2 program to their center. The director looks a little surprised. She says their center is quite small, so it probably wouldn't bring much publicity to the company. But Yoon calmly explains that sometimes working with a smaller center is actually better for the company's image. Instead of looking like obvious advertising, it feels more natural and sincere. But then she explains that our CEO truly wants For Me to be used by people who genuinely need it. The director nods thoughtfully and admits that most of the elderly people in their center feel lonely. Many of them simply want someone to stay beside them. Hearing that, Yoon softly says that maybe For Me could help them. The director then invites Yoon to meet some of the residents. At first, Yoon seems hesitant, but eventually she agrees. Meanwhile, back at the company, the employees are wondering where their CEO is. Seol notices that Yoon still hasn't returned to the office. They guess that maybe she finished her outside work and went straight home. Here, Sang-ji wonders if Han went with her. But Hong really knows, and Han isn't replying to messages either. Then, Young suddenly says that she really feels like drinking beer tonight and asks if anyone wants to join her, to which Sang-ji helps raise Hong's hand. Elsewhere, Han and Yoon are walking outside together on a cold winter night. Han suggests taking a car because it's freezing, but Yoon insists that she's fine walking. As they walk, they pass a large advertisement screen promoting its used VR dating service. The ad asks a simple question: are you searching for everlasting love? It promises to provide a perfect love made only for one person. Looking at the ad, Han suddenly asks Yoon something. He asks her why she created For Me in the first place. Yoon thinks for a moment before answering honestly. She says she simply wanted to create a small world, a place where people could escape to, even for a short time, whenever they felt like running away from reality. A place where someone could hide for a moment and breathe.
Han listens kvietlu.
Then he asks if that is why she secretly tried to do something good today without telling him. Yoon quickly denies it. She says she only did what was beneficial for the company as the CEO. Nothing more. As they continue walking, they stop in front of a small arcade claw machine. Then, they suddenly become interested in a stuffed toy inside the machine. Yoon tells Han to watch carefully as she tries to win it. At first, the claw misses several times. Han laughs and tells her that she is terrible at it. But Yoon keeps trying. Finally, after several attempts, the claw successfully grabs the toy and drops it into the prize slot. Both of them celebrate the small victory, like children. But when they calculate how much money he spent trying to win it, they realize something funny. The toy ended up costing almost 80,000 won. Han jokingly says it's the most expensive stuffed toy he has ever seen. He then hands the toy to her. He tells her that whenever life becomes frustrating because things don't go the way she wants, she should look at this toy and think about him. Yoon smiles slightly at the unexpected gesture. Han then casually calls them a couple, saying they are like two halves of something. Yoon immediately denies it and jokingly says she might tear him in half if he keeps saying that. But deep inside, both of them seem strangely comfortable together. Then, Han returns to the earlier conversation. He tells Yoon something important. The world she created with For Me is not small at all. Sometimes a single person can become someone else's entire world. It is also a world for people who have not given up on love. Yoon listens quietly, unsure how to respond. Later that night, Yoon is at home, and Han messages her and tells her to sleep while hugging the stuffed toy. He promises to pick her up the next day. Here, Yoon looks at the toy and smiles slightly, calling it cute. Meanwhile, Han sees that Hong comes home and is drunk. Han immediately notices something strange. He sees a box and asks where it came from. Hong casually says he picked it up near their house. But Han immediately suspects something. He starts asking questions about where Hong went earlier. He asks if Hong finally confessed his feelings to Young. Hong looks surprised. Apparently, Han already knows about his feelings and has been pretending not to notice while waiting for him to say it himself. Then, Han takes the package and opens it. He is shocked to see that it contains a knife. Hong screams, "What is this? Who sent this to you?" But Han didn't know who sent this to him. There is a terrifying warning with it. It is written that stay away from Yun if you don't want to die. The next morning at the office, we see Hong is holding his head and complaining about a terrible hangover. Han scolds him, saying that instead of drinking all night, he should have just confessed his feelings already. Hong immediately fires back, asking if Han really wants to spend his life coming to work an hour early and leaving an hour late just to drive CEO Yun around like a bodyguard. Yun walks in. Both of them immediately stand up straight and greet her politely. Then, Seol enters the room and looks directly at Yun. She says it feels like it has been a long time since she last saw the CEO at work. Recently, Yun has been absent quite often. Seol asks where she went yesterday. Yun calmly explains that she went to sign an agreement for a charity event at a welfare center. But Seol immediately points out something important. Yun never mentioned that she would be going there with Han. Yun looks surprised and asks how she knows that. Seol simply answers that it was obvious, because Han didn't come to work either. Her tone becomes slightly serious. She warns Yun that making important company decisions alone could create problems later. If something goes wrong, can Yun really fix everything by herself? Yun pauses for a moment and then quietly apologizes, admitting that she might have acted too quickly. But before the conversation can continue, chaos suddenly erupts somewhere else. At the office, a woman suddenly storms inside. She is furious and begins shouting for Kong-san. The staff members are completely confused. They try to calm her down and ask what the problem is. But the woman continues yelling, demanding that Kong-san come out and face her. Soon, the employees realize something shocking. The angry woman claims to be Kong-san's girlfriend. Everyone in the room gasps in surprise. But the situation quickly becomes even stranger. When Kong-san finally appears, the woman accuses him of avoiding her after they had already been together. Kong-san looks completely confused and insists that nothing like that ever happened. The argument quickly turns into a loud confrontation. Finally, the security guards arrive and escort the woman out of the building. After the situation calms down, the staff members start investigating what actually happened. And that is when they discover something disturbing. Inside certain online communities related to For Me, users have created something called dummy culture. Because the VR partners in the system cannot physically touch users, some people found a strange solution. They search for other users with similar body shapes to their virtual partners. Then they meet offline and use each other's bodies to simulate physical contact while imagining their virtual partners through the VR system. In other words, someone might be seeing their virtual partner through the headset, but physically touching a completely different person. When the employees realize this, they are shocked. People who joined the system to avoid getting hurt by real relationships have now started using other real people as substitutes. One of the employees quietly says that humans have somehow become tools for each other. Kong-san then explains a side of a story. He says he only attended the offline meeting once out of curiosity. He thought it was simply a VIP user gathering. He had no idea that something like this was happening there. Even after he refused to meet again, the woman kept contacting him and eventually came to the office. Meanwhile, Sinyu reveals something surprising. The woman causing trouble is actually her old high school classmate. She already knew that her classmate used the For Me system, but she never imagined she would be involved in something like this. Sinyu apologizes to Kong-san for what happened, but Kong-san calmly tells her it is not her fault. The company quickly decides to handle the situation quietly. Director Yun instructs everyone to make sure the story does not leak outside the company. All users involved in the incident will be removed from the system, and legal action may also be taken against the woman. After the meeting ends, Seol discusses what to do about Kong-san. She suggests firing him to prevent future problems. But Yun disagrees. Kong-san is a very talented developer, and finding someone with his skills would be difficult. Instead, they decide to give him a disciplinary warning. However, they make one thing very clear. If something like this happens again, they will not hesitate to remove him from the company. Then, Seol tells Yun to go home early because she looks extremely tired. Then, we see that it's late at night at the office. The atmosphere is quiet. Hong suggests Han that maybe they should leave now instead of standing around awkwardly. Han tells him to go first for today. Then, we see Han leaving with Yun in his car. Han worries about her going home alone. She brushes it off and says she is not a child, so there is no need to worry. Still, Han senses something and asks if she feels upset. She admits that she does feel a little sad, but she is trying to understand the situation. Instead of blaming anyone, she sees it as a mistake made by someone who refused to give up on love. She wonders out loud about something strange in the world they live in. People created this world so they wouldn't feel lonely, yet somehow everyone seems even lonelier than before. Han asks why she thinks that is. She answers softly that sometimes loving someone makes a person feel even more lonely. Han responds with a half-joking thought. Maybe loneliness itself also loves love. Despite the sadness in the conversation, he still tries to encourage her. He tells her that everything will work out in the end. She asks how he can be so sure about that. His answer is simple. He says it is because he will stay by her side. She immediately warns him not to say something he cannot take responsibility for. But instead of backing down, he asks if he can take responsibility for it. He even asks if she will allow him to. The atmosphere becomes warm, but slightly awkward. Then they arrive, and she tells him not to get off yet and says they should meet again tomorrow. He insists on walking her all the way to her house. Then she points out something about his personality. She says he seems like the kind of person who cannot rest until he does everything he wants to do. He laughs and admits that she is right. Then she asks how he can be so confident about staying by her side. He explains his belief. To him, everything in life is a choice, and he has simply chosen to stay beside her no matter what happens. Trying to tease him, she suddenly asks a strange question. What if he dies tomorrow? Instead of being shocked, he jokes about it. He says that if that happened, he would probably wander around as a ghost for 9 lifetimes just to stay near her. He confidently says he plans to live longer than anyone else. She smiles and tells him to live a very long life. Then he makes a sincere promise. He hugs her and says even if the entire world turns its back on her, he says he will stay beside her. When she feels alone, when she thinks there is nothing ahead of her, he will be there. The moment becomes quiet and emotional. Then, she mentions the girl from before and jokingly asks if he is the type who goes around hugging people often. He raises an eyebrow and asks if she is jealous. She immediately denies it, pretending she does not care at all. Embarrassed, she quickly tells him to go already. Right after that, the story suddenly shifts to another tense situation. Sinyu appears and says she cannot continue anymore. She is speaking directly to director Seol. Seol coldly asks if separating Han from Yun is really that difficult. She begs her to stop, but she refuses to back down. Seol asks why she is suddenly asking her to stop when she has been following her orders all along. Sinyu points out that what she is doing has gone too far. Then, she bluntly reveals the real reason. She accuses her of loving Yun. Hearing this accusation shocks Sinyu. She angrily asks if she really thinks that is her weakness. Seol calmly explains her suspicion. She believes she has been obeying her because she is afraid she might hurt Yun. That is why she could never leave or refuse her commands. She then coldly tells her that if she does not want things to get worse, she should stay away from Yun. She even threatens her position in the company and eventually dismisses her harshly, saying she is no longer useful. Then, the scene shifts to Han, where he receives a message from Sinyu saying she has something important to say tomorrow at the office. The next day at the office, when Sinyu arrives, the employees are confused. They cannot believe the situation and wonder if there has been some kind of misunderstanding. Evidence had suddenly appeared that seems to point to Sinyu being responsible for serious problems within the company's server system. When confronted, she desperately denies everything. She insists again and again that she did not do it. She begs the CEO Yun to believe her, but the situation spirals out of control. The evidence appears to be in her possession, and everyone starts accusing her. Then, Director Seol orders her to leave immediately. She refuses and insists on staying until the truth is revealed. Seol mentions security if she does not cooperate. Meanwhile, the employees begin whispering among themselves. They are shocked by the revelation and cannot believe that someone they trusted could be responsible for damaging the company. Still, they admit that protecting the company must come first. Just when things seem chaotic enough, another surprising event happens. An older woman arrives at the company reception and asks to meet the CEO. The staff assumes she is there about the recent company scandal and tells her an official statement will be released soon. But the woman calmly says she is not there about that. She says she came to meet her daughter. The staff members are confused and ask for the daughter's name. The woman seems emotional and insists that her daughter works here. The employees try to help her, but they're still unsure who she is talking about. Then, suddenly, Yoon and Seal come out, and Yoon is shocked to see her mother there. The woman approaches slowly and calls out that she is my beautiful daughter. She goes and hugs Seal instead of Yoon, leaving Yoon completely surprised. And with that, the episode ends here.